So one of the great things about the movie, I mean, we've all watched the story unfold in bits and pieces in the media, but when you see the scale of the square on the big screen, it's really overwhelming. How many people were in that square, in that biggest shot right before the fall? Do you know what the numbers are? Is it millions and millions?
Nobody has any ideas. I mean, nobody knows exactly what the numbers are, but the thing is also you can't actually measure the number at one slice of time because it's not one group of people. It's this constant flux from the morning till the evening, and so, I mean, it's a huge number. And actually, what you see in the image isn't the entirety of the square. The square goes far. The square goes far beyond that. And also, you know, it's the thing that we all forget, but the square is not just one square. There are many squares all over Egypt as well that fill up. But I mean, we keep calling them millions, but I mean, there's some debate as to whether the square itself at one moment can hold 1 million people, but there's no doubt that more than 1 million people have been through it.
No, but about that also, I mean, I think that it's not just about the numbers of people. I mean, the numbers are important and the images are important, but it's about what people coming down does to them. I mean, even if they're coming down for different purposes, for different political interests, when you go down into the street in a country like Egypt especially, and you start to claim your rights, you start to change as a person, you start to become an active citizen, you start to understand your role and the presence of what it means to be on the street. And then when you start to do that time and time again in a country and be able to affect change and be able to move presidents and remove presidents, remove ministers, you start to have this street power and this relationship between the street and the ability of citizens to take the power into their own hands. And while we haven't been able to create a consensus of what we do want yet in Egypt, we have become good at getting what we don't want out of power. So eventually, the hope is we'll achieve the ability to do that. And I think that, like Khalid says, it's not just Tahrir Square, it's about squares all over the country, and it's about squares all over the world, because at the end of the day, what people are fighting for in Egypt is very much a sense of a global struggle of how you affect change and how you hold power accountable, as he was saying. And until we start to view the situation in Egypt and Tahrir as a symbol of that fight for that change, of more of a global consciousness that we're trying to get towards, the sooner we'll get to a place of understanding and achieving that goal.